What's up, SMR people? It's your boy Butters. We're back with another MotoCast brought to you by Beringers Brakes. Today, we break down the first ever North American Supermoto Shootout at OMC in Norman, Oklahoma. Our guests today are a couple of my really close friends. We got Jake Laforge, who is probably one of the most underrated underdogs in American Supermoto. What's up, Jake?
What's going on, buddy?
And then we got the international mystery man himself. This guy's a bit of a mystery. He's an engineer. He's all kinds of stuff. He's been a mentor to me and to Jake. He's been kind of behind the scenes in Supermoto for a lot of years. Some guys might know him, but those who do love him. Aaron Phinney.
Yeah. Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
And as usual, we got Johnny Bang doing all the editing, all the hard work that goes into these things, making stuff happen.
What's up, boys?
And Super Samp, Ryan Samp.
What up, Supermoto folks?
All right, guys. So, we're gonna watch what the track looked like in the dry. I want to lay out a little bit of what Nass was. So this was the first time we went through it. So we had 5 qualifying races that brought you to this event. So you had a East Coast qualifier out of New York. Jake, that's where you qualified out of.
Right.
And then we had, through SMEC. And then we had a West Coast qualifier through Cascadia. And Supermoto USA was also kind of behind that. Brock McAllister through his support because he was taking a year off of promoting Supermoto races. And it went through Cascadia. Then me and Johnny and Ryan, we all qualified through Colorado Supermoto's qualifier. That was more of a central one. Supermoto Quebec, which is back up and running since I think they restarted that up in 2021. They had a qualifier that was also in the wet. So those poor guys, as we're going to see, the only dry time we had was what we're watching right now was the Friday practice. We had a beautiful dirt section. It was wet, but it did start to dry out for us. We got a good practice day in, and it was awesome. They built a big triple for the pro classes to use that we didn't get to ride, which was such a bummer. I was so stoked for it.
Yeah, I think I'm on the sideline watching. I think once you guys pass through the dirt section, I think you can see me on the side of the track watching.
I know you rode earlier in the day, but did you not ride the dirt?
No, because you guys switched over at the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I already took all my stuff off. I was already cold.
Dude, first lap coming out for dirt practice, I come into the dirt section hot. And I see Jake and Shane just sitting in the car, and I absolutely blow the first berm.
He literally went like 15 feet over the berm, just launched off it. You didn't even crash, right?
No, I just kind of rolled over. It was fine.
He launched off this, and then
Yeah, dude, I just kind of went straight right off of it.
Shane's got to think that Ryan's just the loosest.
Dude, every single time I ride with him, he sees like the sketchiest things I do.
No, but it looked like if it did not rain, this was gonna be a really, really fun race.
Yeah, the dirt was so beautiful right now. Oh, it's so sick. And then coming out here onto the asphalt, you could pretty much just like slide around this whole corner because you have that dirt on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so sick.
This corner was also very slick because of the dirt on the tires, but
yeah.
Johnny, you high-sided there on this day, didn't you?
I think there was like 4 high sides coming out of the dirt that day.
Was that the first fast right after the dirt?
No, Johnny high-sided on that first left as you exited the dirt.
Got some wheel spinning. Huck-a-buck.
But yeah, so like we go to qualify in the beginning of the day, and the rain comes out pretty much right away. We got a little more rain through the night. The dirt section was looking a little wet. Stevie went out there and manicured it all and got it looking good. And right as we're getting ready to go out for like the first practice of race day, rain comes down. We get delayed and stuff. And they did an awesome job trying to, because Phinney, you guys know Fred that ran OSB, and he does all the him and his wife do all the race direction for the Supermoto East Coast stuff nowadays. Stuff, and Fred runs a tight ship, and he is very adamant that Supermoto needs a dirt section, which I love about Fred and stuff. So when the rain came down, he did try to add a dirt section for a little bit. It was very abbreviated. And Jake, you and I were in the first heat race, and they split up the field, and me and your heat race was the first one that it was the last one to have a dirt section.
Have a dirt section. We got the very worst of it because it started getting a puddle, and then the puddle matched the surface of the asphalt, so it looked like it was kind of straight across. So
and the deluge happened during our heat race.
The what?
The downpour. It came down so hard during our heat race. I was soaked.
I stood up after it. I literally had a puddle in my crotch, and it just soaked my whole entire front of my pants. I was so cold too.
Yeah, it wasn't even that it was just like wet. It was so cold.
Yeah. I was so sick that weekend too. Already.
Yeah, we were wet for 2 days straight.
And this track here at Norman, Oklahoma was such a cool facility for us to have this event at. So it was kind of a bummer that the weather came in, but then the other side of a rain race is that it's super fun to ride. Like, I enjoy riding in the rain.
I enjoy it once the light goes out.
I enjoy it if you're on good tires.
I'm not much of a person that enjoys it.
Oh yeah, like when you're getting ready to go, but like I'm that way with pretty much any race. As soon as the race starts creeping up, the nerves start coming up, and I'm just like, you're gonna have fun on your bike. Come on, remember that. But you still get nervous, and then as soon as the light goes out, it's like light switch in your mind. You're good.
I don't want to practice in the rain and just deal with that all morning. I'd rather just be in the race in the rain. I love the rain. Everybody knows that knows me. It's an equalizer, and you have to be on your A game at all costs. But I don't like doing a whole weekend of wet and practice and laying in the mud.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this track was especially technical because this is a very... The corner, it doesn't ever seem to go straight on this track. You're always leaned over. And you got that like 5 apex right-hander.
Right. And that left-hander right there that we were going through was probably one of the hardest turns on the track.
We're right behind your guy, Sam Lackus.
Sammy.
Sam Lackus.
Oh, no, there's Buffum. Old Buff Daddy was out here, but he mainly just rode the 250 class. He wanted to chase the championship there, and we were going to the AMA final the next weekend, so I think we were all kind of trying to keep everything that we could going, running 2 bikes, doing rain setups and stuff like that. I think it was going to be hard for Buffum to run both classes this event.
Yeah, that would have been a little too much.
Dude, look how good that dirt was, man.
It looks just the
pass.
perfect tacky. It looks great.
Oh, it was so good. Like when we started riding, it was a little slimy, but as we rolled it in, it got so good. And it's a bummer because the weekend before, the weather was beautiful in Oklahoma. Weekend after, weather was beautiful. And you got to schedule that stuff ahead of time. Oh, Jake. Yeah, Jake Randall right there.
I forgot about that.
Yep.
That looked like it hurt.
All right, boys. So we ready to watch some racing?
Yeah.
Hold in.
Let's watch some rain. This corner right here was so hard.
I almost died there so many times.
Yeah, I'd given one of the Colorado guys that came out, Coy Baker, I'd given him my used reins from that I'd run on earlier in the year. And I had a fresh set from good old Jeff Rydell at Toxic Moto Racing. We had Jeff there, his Toxic Moto rig. And that dude, he worked his ass off this weekend. Because on Friday, we were putting slicks on. We were hoping the weather was going to hold off. Saturday was a fire drill to get everyone on reins. And then they...
That's why I missed the practice, because I've already switched over to rain. Preparing for...
Yeah, I was debating. I didn't set my bike up for rains, because I was just like, if I switch it, I'm going to have to switch back. is how I felt about it, so I just didn't do it.
Right.
Then we got good old shitty Shane on the front of the grid.
Good old Shane.
I was wondering if that was him.
Yeah, and by shitty Shane, it's really like, I mean it in with all due respect. But and then on, so we got Jake, Shane, and me, which we've been boys forever. We were RSR teammates for a couple years, and then we got the new Supermoto East Coast Open Pro champion on the outside of the front row, Andrew Millier, on the Yamaha.
He's so fast. Ugh.
Dude, he's speedy on the asphalt.
I know. He makes me nervous every time I race him.
Yeah, and keep close eye on him on the start here.
Don't tell him that.
Don't tell him he's fast. It was cool to see how many Canadians came down. We only had, I think, one or two in the pro class, but we had quite a field of them for all that came down for multiple classes.
Can we talk about how short I look in that shot right there?
That's why we call you the Supermoto Gnome, dude.
Dude, the gnome. Ow.
I was wondering if
How about?
Oh, I forgot Shane stalled
yeah,
there.
Yeah. Dude, and Jake's just going out. Oh,
Well,
dude, Millier almost tucked it right there. Keep an eye on Jake right here. Pan away. He almost died in turn 2, dude.
Oh, Coy, no!
That's what I did. Right here.
That's what. So Coy was the one that guy that just crashed. He's the one I gave tires to. So maybe the tires I gave him weren't that good.
This corner right here, the puddle scared me every time.
That was.
Oh yeah. Dude, the first laps were so, because there was just not any warmth in your rim yet. So
That's all I have going for me, dude. If you look at my lap times are fast. The first 4 laps, and that's it. And then they just stay this very same.
well, this second lap we're going on to.
I try
This
to
is
check.
where you set a burn.
I try to check out as fast as possible. I get nervous.
We got my homie Timmy V in third, right behind us.
He didn't even ride until
Yeah.
like morning of rain. He didn't even go out for practice or nothing.
I'm not sure if he was saying he was sick, but Timmy also gets like race sick where he gets nervous about stuff and then throws up and stuff. So I'm not sure if it was a combination of him being truly sick or if him being like race sick. But then you got Brady Tausan behind him, and Brady and Timmy battled at the Lightning on the Wolf event, SMEC Round 4 earlier this year. And then you got Millier behind them. You got the Supermoto East Coast crew kind of coming in heavy there with JC and JC was pretty much, so it was you, Shane, Millier, and JC were like the main Supermoto East Coast dudes in this event.
The 450 class, yeah. 'Cause you got
Yep.
Sammy, Sergio, the 250 and stuff.
And Shane's already up to 5th after stalling.
Yeah, I think his bike had like an ECU problem or something like that. Is because it's done it a couple times before too. It did it at OVRP, one of the races.
Kids, this is why you keep your motor stock.
It is. I'll back it up for him. It is stock. I don't know what. I mean, it is a Honda. That might be the problem.
Yeah, dude, you got a good gap on me here that first lap. You had laid down a 55.8.
Yeah, first lap, right? Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
First time being on this track, I feel like it was so hard to like memorize it. Practice day. I'm glad we got a day in.
It is a very techno track.
Like, it doesn't look like it. Like, watching this video, it doesn't look that technical, but when you're out there, like, these little seams and stuff are so slippery that, like, going into that corner, turn 2 is coming in too fast or in the wrong gear. You know, you could, like, I crashed there twice. I crashed every time on the track besides the races, so I guess it's a good thing, but
I'd honestly be surprised if there was someone at this event that did not hit the ground that weekend. I think all of us hit the ground at some point. I hit the ground in my heat race.
it was
Yeah, this
good.
day was a nightmare for me, dude. I was still on the first set of tires I was trying. Oh,
And
it's
you're
like I
also on
couldn't-
your 250 in this race.
Yeah, I couldn't keep myself off the ground, dude.
Do you think the 250 was like equal almost on this track? Like speed wise?
It's tough. Not on the front straight.
Right.
They
Oh,
pulled
yeah,
there.
I
But
feel like you might be able to get a good momentum going around those turns, but not in the rain either.
no.
Yeah.
Like, I had a lot of fun with it on Friday. Like, when it was dry and I was actually getting some sort of traction.
Right, you can drive through the turn
Yeah.
And that turn 2 that Shane and
right there.
Millier are going through right there, that turn was very deceiving. And for me and you, Jake, or any of us that were in Heat 1, this was the first time we entered turn 2 that way, because we had the dirt section before it
Right,
previously in our heat race.
Oh,
So it was
there.
this race was the first time we got to go into turn 2, kind of like explore what race pace on asphalt in the wet was going into there. And there's a slight drop in elevation as you enter it, so it's super easy. There's a seam too that wants to take your front, so it's so easy to lose the front or the rear going into 2.
yeah.
I got tagged by losing the front one time.
Yeah.
It's funny because I didn't realize that until coming out of turn 1 on that lap, going, oh wow, we're gonna be going a lot faster into this turn. I wonder what it's gonna do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I remember watching you almost die and being like, "Oh, he's gonna give me the lead right now," and we missed it on the cameras there. But yeah, you almost tossed yourself, dude. Like you were both feet off the pegs.
I planted that inside foot and just rode it to the ground and just hovered and just held my ground. And I don't know how I saved it, but thankful I did.
And our poor Simpin Samp here, he had to buy Timmy a set of brand new reins for this event because earlier in the year, Timmy gave him his set of reins at a race.
But when Timmy gave me his wheels, it was for my first win in Pro Lights, so it was worth it.
Yeah.
Bold.
Dude, Timmy doesn't want to let him buy. I love Timmy.
I know, I love it.
He's
No, but
awesome.
how cool is like the fact that like Timmy comes out, Shane's out here, all these guys come out to this race where I know like we didn't really know what the weather's gonna be like, but we all went out there and had fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of cool homies there, like Dawson, Brady. You know, like we haven't seen much of them this year.
All right, it was a cool turnout. Of kind of felt like,
Yeah, it was a good grip for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, especially for a couple people getting scared away. And I know there was a bunch of West Coast guys that were looking at making it happen. DeBrino was going to come out, but just couldn't sort out timelines.
Right.
And there was talk of Reimer and Bronson coming out too.
Yeah, but it's a great idea to do something like this because, just the cost of this type of racing has just gone up so much that, to have all these high caliber racers come to one event and actually be able to race each other is beneficial, especially for me because I'm doing this all on my own. So to try
Absolutely.
to travel, do all this
Both
stuff.
sides. I've watched you race in venues where there's just not enough high caliber riders, and I'm not trying to be mean. It just gets old for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Right.
it's hard for you guys being like up in the New England and stuff. You guys have to travel no matter where you go.
Exactly. So for Smek to have thought of this and to have him do this type of event for us for the country, I think is a great.
Yeah, not
idea.
just for the country, but like for the whole continent in a sense. 'Cause we got
Exactly right.
Canada have the qualifier and
Exactly. Yeah.
dude, that 227 Nelson.
He raced every.
Dude, yeah, like pretty much every class. That dude was a Iron Man, and I don't know how his tires held up either, because I did it on one set of tires, and it wasn't necessarily great by the end. I think you did it on one set of tires too, didn't you, Jake?
Yeah. One set of rain.
How many tires did Shane have?
I think he went through two sets.
Yeah. That guy. No,
Hey.
I love Shane.
If you got him, run him.
Hell yeah. No, like what you're saying with Nass is really why I love it, because Supermoto has been a struggle to like get all of the top caliber guys to like one series. It's really hard for everyone to have enough support to do that. And so the idea of Nass is beautiful to me because he works with promoters around the country so they can have a qualifier. So then you go to whatever your closest local series is. Like for me, it's Colorado Supermoto, for me
Right.
being New Mexico based. Or even if it's like, we went to Lightning on the Wolf 2 this year, which was a qualifier, but it was also, we wanted to do a SMEC round. So we ended up hitting 2 qualifiers ourselves.
Right, and
But
it's
to
just
have that where
another
you do,
reason to go too. Like it's like people that race Loretta Lynn qualifiers, they go to different regions to test out the competition and stuff. So you can do that if you want to and try out different tracks and stuff. So like it's a good purpose. If you can do the traveling, you can do other tracks and meet your competition.
yeah. And to your point about like getting us all together for that shootout, I think it's cool too, because in the future it brings in that ability to have a guy, say he's a supercrosser, a road racer, a flat tracker, and they're chasing what their sport of choice is.
Right.
But they
Kinda
can go
bring
to
back the whole superbiker thing.
yeah, and they can go to 2 events here. They can get a practice, get their feet wet in the Supermoto, and then come to this and do this big shootout. And that's the beauty of Supermoto to me, is it combines all these facets of motorcycling.
Exactly.
Like none of us really, I feel like, are specialists, quote unquote, where it's all we ride. We're all moto guys or flat trackers or road racers. We all
wheeled riders.
Yep. And Supermoto's that perfect thing where it's like the bikes are easy to ride. It's much more of rider-based racing than it is bike. I feel like bikes help, especially at our level and stuff. But like for the most part, you can have a guy on lesser equipment that can still be competitive with Supermoto, just because it does require so much more on the rider's ability.
For sure.
Dude, I was thinking Shane was going to catch us, but we were all running pretty much the same pace.
Well, so when we're coming around these corners, and the corner coming up here, where we can see him right there.
Yeah.
So I was eyeballing him every lap, being like, okay, he's right there, and then you saw I turned and looked and found you. So I was kind of eyeballing you guys this whole race, just making sure that like I wasn't gonna do anything stupid. 'Cause I usually do. I can find myself in those positions sometimes.
Yeah, I felt like it was just a yo-yo with us.
Sorry about that. I like that first person because, I've never raced there. Obviously, I've since retired, but that track looks way more technical up close than it does from backed out.
Right.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And that was my bad on not getting enough GoPros spread out, because it was so cold, dude. We did the heat race and we were soaked to the bone. And they were trying to fit as much as they could into the schedule this Saturday event, because the weather on Sunday was looking even worse. So
we honestly didn't even hang out.
Yeah, it was a bummer.
It was such a bummer, too. All we did was just sit in the tent and just sit by the heater.
Yeah, we'd pop up into the tower and jump on the live stream during other races once in a while and stuff. And they had our buddy Kenny Troxel and Traven Wiley doing commentary at this event, which was really cool. It added a lot to it for anyone that was able to jump on the live stream during the event.
You can even go watch the video, and their commentating still on it, so you can still get the grasp of what the video is and what the race is, and they did a great job, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, check out Race Smack on YouTube.
And the funny part with this race was Coy in the back. Like, we saw him crash on the first turn. When we come off the track from this race, he comes over to my pit and he's like, dude, it was crazy out there. And he's already in his street clothes. And I was like, weren't you just in the race with us?
He's already stripped down.
I didn't know he had died like we'd seen. But yeah, the first person camera, the GoPro on me, definitely gives a little more detail of how wet it was compared to when you look at it from the side, sometimes it throws stuff off. It's weird. Sometimes it's either or. Sometimes the GoPro looks like it flattens stuff out. On this event, I feel like the GoPro kind of heightened what we were dealing with.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, it was brutal. And the rain with all those, like that track has a lot of seams, a lot of cracks, a lot of patches. On top of it being like slick.
It was day 2 or 3, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much day 3 of the weekend. Last weekend, they had swapped the schedule. We have been the last race on Saturday, and so this day they reverse the order of the classes, and we went out first. And maybe it's just because us being as New Mexico as we are, and we like to like be lackadaisical and get our Starbucks and stuff going to the track. We showed up, go to the riders meeting, and they're like, "Yeah, pro's going out first." I'm like, "Crap! I don't got warmers or nothing on my bike."
Yeah, but how great was it to be done for the rest of the day?
That was kind of nice. It was so cold. It was like below 40 degrees.
It was snowing at the riders meeting.
Did you get out for the practice?
Yeah, I had to. I knew I had to.
I wanted to, dude. I barely got my bike together, put on my wet gear.
Shane's usually pretty good at talking me into do stuff.
Yeah, I saw you guys out there, and I was just like, me and Simpy were doing our best because I was supposed to go get cameras on you. Johnny got pulled to help with the live stream. And I was supposed to be trying to get GoPros on you, but I couldn't even get my stuff sorted out. By the time I got my gear, me and Ryan were putting our body armor on. They were calling first call for Moto. And I was just like, oh no. And I was so stiff going out there. It was cold.
It was the weekend, for sure.
But that's that fun part about going racing, like, where it's like, if this was a practice day, you'd be like, yeah, I'm out. But because it was a race, and we all have to do it, and that's where I find that beauty in a rain race, is that we all have to deal with it, no matter what comes. Like, Millier in that first day, we forgot to mention, he was in Heat 2, and he was the reason why the dirt section got deleted, because he...
Deleted.
I don't know how, yeah, there's some memory deleted out of him on that one, for sure.
I got tossed pretty hard of it coming out of that, too. High sided myself.
Yeah,
and
that's
landed
right.
on the bike.
Yeah, you landed on your bike spinning.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
So,
JC.
Butters, I want to ask you a question.
Bernie.
What gear are you starting in?
I think I started him first.
Why?
I don't know. I'm not the best starter.
No, I'm just.
I
I'm
got that
curious.
going for me.
Wanted
Did
to
you
know-
start in second?
I do.
Dude, you rocketed on that TM, like, oh my god.
This is a good ship. But that's also the second gear. You can't be starting first in the rain, my guy.
Yeah, live and learn, I guess.
I also can't be giving out my secret.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, like I already just wrote down, start in second. Like, the only times I've ever done is like when it's super slick, like there's dirt on the track, and I'll start in second.
I never start first, ever.
Damn moto guys.
Yeah, I used to start in third at motocross on my 80s.
On an 80?
Yeah, we had
It's a
concrete
clutch.
start, and I just would hold it wide open.
Yeah.
Yeah, those concrete starts.
Dude, I just wanted to get a jump on Shane. I knew if he started in front of me, it was going to be near impossible to get behind him or get
Same.
around him.
Because he's, I hate when he's in front of me.
Yeah. And
He's
you can
so
see
good.
like it was raining while we were doing this.
Andrew Millier.
There
right there.
goes. Was that Millier?
Yeah.
No, it was JC, I believe.
In this first lap, I knew from the day before that you were
Blow right here.
goosing it hard enough because like we're all amped up and we gotta go. So like I knew I needed to try to make a move first lap, because that second lap you went and you got enough of a gap to where I was never able to do anything. You were able to monitor, you were able to just control the race. So I was like, if I have a chance of getting you, I have to make it happen here in the beginning.
Yeah, I didn't. I
you
ride with
notice those
right there. No, I was just gonna say I ride with earplugs, so I really can't hear anything, which is a good and a bad thing. I don't like hearing my bike chain. I don't like to hear. Once you wear them, I feel like you'll be like, oh my god, wow! It makes me more comfortable. If you, you know.
Yeah, I've tried riding with them a couple times, but I didn't really feel like it was like, oh, I like that or anything. So I've never really ridden with them. I couldn't figure out a way around you. I wanted to maybe try to take you high into that corner or push you wide in that bus stop there, but
Yeah. Yeah, I kept getting nervous right there because I think in practice I crashed because I went in and like going into there I was kind of riding my front brake, and in practice I tucked the front, so I kept going in there nervous, touching the front brake, so I would I wouldn't, and that's why I kept coasting wide. I would just ride through it, and didn't like watching this now. You see how slow I was going.
Yeah.
But
We're going
didn't
on to
feel-
lap 3 here. This happens to be my fastest lap of the race.
This is good footage.
Yeah. See what you do here.
Yeah, this corner feels like, because you tip in and it's kind of more corners, but it felt like you never really got off that right side of the tire, so it felt like it was a 5 apex, right?
Should have just had your POV the whole time.
And Johnny, you were up in the booth for this, so were you able to what was it like for you trying to watch this and jump cameras and all that kind of stuff?
I felt pretty
Oh.
comfortable.
Flash.
I felt
Yeah,
pretty comfortable
yeah.
just because I have experience editing this stuff. Very similar layout of what we're doing, and it's just watching cameras and anticipating corners, knowing which cameras where. It took me a few minutes until I felt comfortable. I wouldn't say I was great at it yet, but definitely had some experience already.
So
Did you
this
see all
was
the
that
dirt on
first
the
lap,
track?
yeah. So Brady Tausan had gone down that last lap, and he tucked
In a
the
very
front hard going
magnificent
into
fashion.
one, dude. And I was so shook, like you saw, I blew wide there going into one, because I'm just in the tuck behind Jake. I'm like, let's go. And then we sit up, and I'm like, oh shit, there's dirt everywhere.
You look, I brake like 15 feet earlier than we usually do because I'm like, I don't know how far this is going across.
Yeah, I was so tunnel vision because I was just tucked in behind you. Like, I wasn't looking as far ahead as I should have. So it was a surprise to me.
Dude, my guy Kevin, we're coming up on
Yep.
one of the funniest dudes in the pit.
Dude, it's a party. Yeah,
Does it
I was
feel
so
like-
nervous about that.
It doesn't
Go
feel like
ahead.
you guys are ever really planted. I know you guys are going at a great pace. Just watching some of the late apex stuff when you're on the gas, just like the wheels just moving constantly.
Oh, yeah.
There
And
was
that's why
there was-
I enjoy
it was weird.
riding that kind of stuff, because it's like the bike's dancing the whole time.
Yeah.
And here I'm starting to, Jake's starting, I feel like you probably started to get comfortable, Jake, and kind of settle in and be like, okay, he's not hounding me. And Shane goes by here. I had almost tossed myself a couple corners before this, lit it up pretty good. And I thought my rear was maybe going away. And I'd also had, on the practice day, I had gone to set my tire pressure and my valve stem stuck. And it was just pissing out. I can't get the valve stem to reseat. And then to this race, we're going, I checked my tire pressure before the race. I'm like, is that thing leaking? Am I losing pressure? And I started getting in my own head. And I was like, is my tire going away? And looking back now, I got done with the race. It's all good. I think I was just trying too hard in this race. I got kind of close to you, Jake, and then I just started trying to push. And in the rain, in these conditions, that's the worst thing you can do.
Right,
is push.
the second you start to feel any pressure of you need to do anything is usually when something bad happens.
Yeah. It's all about momentum.
Kind of brings me back to the earplug thing, is where I couldn't hear you, so you didn't really trigger me to think, oh shit, he's right there. Oh shit, he's coming on the outside. I had no idea where you were. I just knew you were there, so I knew that some turns I could go here, knowing that there's no way you can get inside of me from here. And outside, if you watch, my lines aren't the greatest lines, but they're pretty good at being a defensive line of not knowing exactly where you are, but good enough where
for sure.
Blocking you.
Yeah, because anytime we were passing people in practice or the heat race, I was able to usually find a spot on the track I could get. And with you, I never found an opening. And even if I felt like I had a little bit of pace in the corner, it was nothing that was would get me to where my front wheel was going to get in front.
Right. Which I feel like on this track, there was nowhere you could really actually do that.
Mm-hmm.
Except maybe this corner down beyond this flag, but you would have to make a mistake going into it. Not
Yeah, it was really hard. I feel like on a lot of people, you could get a drive onto the front straightaway, but with you and Shane, there was no way to get a better drive than what you guys were already getting.
Coming onto the front straightaway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shane was there.
We just came by and we got the white flag and we were lapping somebody and I did not see the white flag. So I did not know how many laps we had left.
Yeah, we did 12 laps the day before, but this day with the weather incoming, and it was only going to get colder as the day went on. So they shortened the motos to 10 laps instead of 12.
Shane's putting down a good lap, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is the lap that you and Shane turn your fastest laps.
Yeah, I think I turned around and stayed him, and I'm like, oh, jeez. But then I thought, I was like, you know what? If anyone's gonna beat me, I'd have to be able to let Shane beat me because I would still be the winner of the championship. So
Yeah, because if you went 1-2 and Shane went 3-1, you have the overall. So you
right,
definitely have. So
I
you're
had
doing
that.
a little bit of math.
I
Better
had
math than Jet Lawrence did that one time.
I ain't grabbed the helmet.
How cool with the light system they got? Like Supermoto East Coast uses this system as well and stuff, but where you got the blue flags that flash around the track, or a hazard that flashes, or red, depending on what happens. It's kind of cool.
If you think about it, it's brilliant. You don't really have to pay for as many flaggers. You have technical flaggers, and you have blue lights where you can warn lappers. You know, I don't think I've ever seen any series have actual blue flags being run in a Supermoto series. So, you know,
Yeah,
to see them
And these are easy to see too.
them implement that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Trying to
Checker.
Yeah, no, this was the white flag
This
right
is
here.
yeah, exactly, yeah. And then
Yeah, but you were right. Like your memory was correct. You guys went around Kevin, and I can see why you didn't see the white.
Did you like that TM?
I did.
Jake?
I
How'd it
didn't
feel?
like at first. I don't know. I was riding it at OVRP where, you know, I was racing against Shane, and I'm not gonna make excuses. I had tires that I rode all year on, never changed them, so like I wasn't helping my own
Oh,
confidence.
JC definitely kind of like got a little bit of Shane got a little bit of help there. I wasn't sure how he did that.
Oh yeah, so I was like, I either duck under JC and worry that he's gonna pinch me off coming in, thinking I'm gonna go on the outside, or if I just go on the outside and Shane goes inside and passes me, I guess it's really not the end of the world. And then I thought I was gonna have one more lap at least. I think the check.
Yeah, like come back at him or something.
right.
Yep. Shane Narbone with the win.
At the end of the race, Jake, did he say, I just put my head down and never gave up?
Yep.
Shane's not
Never
a huge
give
fan
up.
of me. I can make those jokes.
What do you do? A 55.4?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, you guys had done. So Shane did a 55.4. You did a 55.5. I had also done. Oh no, I did a 56.5. So in the beginning of the race when we were going, we weren't really up to pace. You guys found the pace later in the moto there.
Yeah, I think the tires finally started heating up a little bit.
Yeah, I think I was telling you there at the end of the moto that I lost my tire. I don't think I was
Yeah.
sure. I think it was just me being a moron.
Curious what Shane's progression was. I mean, that was a pretty good reel in. Nothing against
Yeah.
you, Jake. That was pretty good.
No, he did reel me right in, for sure.
And the first day,
A lot of anger in him.
and shout out to Millier because we had seen him crash in the beginning of that race. Like Jake, you had said, and
Yeah, he fought
Johnny,
back.
you were saying that maybe it was JC. It was Millier and stuff, and he fought back up to 5th behind Timmy
Wow.
V.
Yeah, so he's fast.
And like him and Timmy V had pretty much identical fast laps, 0.02 of a second difference.
Oh wow.
So
No,
from-
this was a great event. I thought it was. The weather made it the worst, but it is what it is. And like you said earlier, we all had to endower it. So you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the beauty of the rain races. It forces everyone to endure it, and then you go, "Oh, that was a badass time." Like we just watched 2 wet supercrosses we've had lately, and a lot of the guys afterwards were like, "That was a lot of fun. That was a
Right.
shit show, but that was a lot of fun."
Watching this race, looking back, like not being freezing cold, this was a great weekend. But she asked me there. I don't think I would have
Yeah,
said
you guys
that.
had your pits enclosed with heaters in there.
I think it was making it worse.
Really?
We were just warm and then go out into the
Well,
freezing cold.
Dude, me and Johnny and Ryan, we brought our gear bags into the hotel room, and we had them like just stuff stacked because my leather pants were soaked to the bone.
My stuff was all over my heater. My room.
Dude, and
All
then
mine are soaked
the
inside
first
that.
day we had our one wheels, so we're one wheeling around the wet pits and stuff, and it was keeping us kind of dry because like I was just roll slow through the big puddles on my one wheel, get over to you guys or check in with random stuff and pop around as you did before you'd like have to go back to your pit. And then the second day, my one wheel was like, it wouldn't turn on.
No, I'm done.
Dude, I would always just sneak over to Jake and Shane's pit and like sneak warmth from their bullet heater.
Yeah.
I mean, we were sitting there and we're like, "There's a Home Depot right up the street. Why don't we just go get a heater?" So we went there and Trevor's like, "Yeah, I'm buying a heater right now." We buy the
Dude, I was kind of wondering about that. I was like, is Shane just so factory that he's already thought out all this stuff and he just has it with him all the time?
That was like a Saturday night. I think right after the races, we drove right there, went right in, walked straight to the heaters, turned around, bought it, walked right out. And I think it's being used in Trevor's garage as we speak.
Nice. By the way, Jake, you got a pretty cool, unique trophy for this event for the winner of the pro classes. They got like championship rings, like a Super Bowl ring, almost type of thing. You got a diamond in it and it says like Nass champion.
Yeah, it's probably not even probably. It is the coolest trophy I've ever gotten, for sure.
By the way, this is an RSR podium. We're coming in for RSR.
First ever Nass champ.
There
Yeah, I'm
he is.
super excited to see where this event can go in the future years to come. And I look to it to become like that new staple for American Supermoto and have an event that you get all the heavy hitters around the country to do, plus like the crossover guys you get once in a while. And because it is just one event, it's not like, hey, come do this series, and they can't justify doing a whole series, and then they don't want to go do a one-off round that like maybe gets in the way of this. It's like this was the biggest purse we saw all year.
Right, and the other thing is, too, is like what's in your left hand is being brought home with you now. You know, like,
Yeah. Good point. Good point.
Get paid the same day.
you know, and you walk away with, you know, nothing. I walked away with a diamond ring with the number 1 on it. You know, you can't. How cool is that?
Gonna get another ring next year, Jake?
Yeah, I hear it might have 2 diamonds in it for the second year. So
Oh wow!
add to my.
So like as it goes on, it's just gonna get more expensive for him.
No, I thought, why wouldn't it be the other way around? You need, you know, you're the first person, you should have 5, and then it goes down because you're, you know, not the first.
Make it easier on him
Maybe
as
just
it
go
goes.
half a diamond for the next one. Yeah, my buddy Brian put this montage together.
Where's this out at?
This
this
is
Box
at
Shop?
Loudon. This is
Oh,
Loudon.
Loudon.
Out
Okay.
in the parking lot of Loudon.
Oh, that looked like a cool track, dude.
It was cool.
I just remembered it from Rob's shirt, what event that was. That was great.
That was Jeff.
Yeah, the Hawaiian shirt.
That was my buddy Jeff.
It did look
Yeah.
like Wiggins. I thought it was Wiggins too, Aaron. I'm with you.
Well, they were wearing the same shirt that weekend.
Yeah.
That's what made
Yeah.
it funny.
Probably both. But
My team guy. That bike was so cool.
so,
Okay.
Jake, do you wear the ring out in public or no?
So I got it resized. It's
Oh, did
resized.
you?
I got it back out, had it sized up so it doesn't get stuck on my finger. But no, actually Chelsea got me a cool display for it. So it's
Oh, sick.
on my shelf. In the glass case, a little light in it. Sick.
Oh, Simpy, look, Jake on a 250F. You don't want none of that, dude.
None of
That's
that heat, dude. Actually, there's a video on YouTube of me racing Charlie on a 250.
Ooh, Buffum Laforge battles.
Yeah. I start dead last.
Wasn't there some animosity between you and the Buffy?
No.
No. I thought there was.
I mean,
I'm
whatever.
glad you guys squashed it now. Now you guys are cool now.
Never had a problem with them.
It's Brockton, right, Jake?
Yeah, this is Brockton Fair.
That's the second year.
This is the first year I've been to it. This is
Right.
the one that
Did
22
anyone
full-
die off that little tabletop?
No, we were gonna have it at a point where like you're going at it and to hit it, and my suggestion was, why don't we put it right after a turn so we're not hitting it at full speed, because
Yeah.
it's only 4 feet
He
long.
died.
It's a pretty cool system. I think some Supermoto guy, Casey, I think his name was, built it. It's a trailer, so it like folds up and you towed it home. So I mean, it's a pretty cool idea.
Casey,
Like
Concept?
sell it. No.
the one that has like that lake that they do the ice racing on. That Casey?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
This is like a New York Casey.
Okay.
That's Rob Wiggins right there.
Good old Wiggins.
Yep. Wobbly Wiggins. But yeah, this track was one of a kind, really.
That was awesome.
Cool little whoop section. No, but actually, this race had the second coolest trophy I've ever gotten, which is actually a Monster Energy guitar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I was like, oh, sure. Yeah, I'll go race there. This was cold. I think this was in late October, like November, up in Massachusetts, so it's probably 40 degrees or something. It's not warm.
Hell yeah.
If you can look, all these people on the right are all wearing winter jackets, coats, hat. Pretty sure I crashed right here.
I mean, it looks like a fun little track to ride.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm actually riding that's Rob's 250.
I love
Dude,
this
you just like
re-entry.
push your way into the line.
He just snaps in.
Yeah,
you're like, no, cut it out, guys. Let me back.
Pete the Heat.
That's not Pete the Heat. That's Mason.
Oh, Pete the Heat's behind me. I had to cut in
Oh
front
yeah,
of him.
you're like fuck off, Pete.
And I had to get away from Mason. Mason's butt crack was hanging out. No, this was the cool track though, just because of how like in a parking lot, hay bales just in the corner, a couple jumps, and
Parking lot tracks are like some of my favorite tracks ever for Supermoto.
this is like a horse track right here that we're jumping into a little bit of, but
That looks nice and slick. Did that hay bale go right in front of that other dude?
like look at these
Are you back to the lead already, Jake?
so.
With that?
No, I think Franco's out front right there.
Oh yeah, Franco. Yeah, Franco was at Nass. He won the the asphalt or the vet title at Nass this year?
I think it was the asphalt. It was one of them. I can't remember.
Dude, he was battling. Dude, his daughter passed Simpy on the practice day on the asphalt, and Simpy comes out back in from his first session on the track, and it's a new track to him and stuff. He's learning it. And stuff. He's like, dude, some girl just flew by me. I'm like,
Blew
what
my
girls
doors
here?
off, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Renee, just so you guys know, Renee is actually really talented and really fast.
She's very fast.
Yeah,
Really fast.
she had some bad luck at Nass. I think she went down.
I'm just thankful
A
she doesn't
couple
have hurt. So
Yeah.
I don't want to get beat.
Yeah.
This guy in front of me has got an R6 front number plate on his KX.
How do you put an R6 number plate on?
He
Oh, I
bent
think
it.
I saw that when you were down. When you were down coming up, and I was like, "What is that big old wing on there?"
Oh wait, no, this is Franco in front of me.
Franco.
He's been
Thanks,
doing it a
Sam.
long time.
Yeah, Franco's been doing it a long time. I like that he's still doing it too.
And he's still
He
super
He
fast.
wimp out like me.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
feel like
he's
he's gotten
excited to run
fast. Like
reins on
this year at Nass, he was good.
When he rides confident, he rides really well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's not an easy person to pass.
He's fun to ride with too. He's one of those guys you can push around a little bit and not, worry that he's going to be all terrified.
Yeah, no, and after the race, he'll smile and really appreciate it. He just
Exactly.
likes to.
Yeah, I remember the first time I met you, Jake, I think was 2015 Loudon.
Was that the first time I met you?
Yeah,
Or
I
was
think
it-
so. Yeah, it was.
Road America.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
it was Road
well,
I don't think we
yeah,
really.
yep. Road America was round 2 that year, yep. And I think Loudon was round 3.
Yeah, I think we finally actually like kind of were
Yeah,
okay.
you're
to
right.
start really talking out loud.
Yeah. Because I had met Shane a year or 2 before, and I think I had started getting to know, or at least talk to you, Aaron, in like 2013, 2014. Yeah, it was 2013. So it was a little bit, a couple years before I really met Jake. So I knew Shane, and then I met like Chapeasy at Loudon, and to be honest, Jake, I didn't know if like you or Chapeasy was faster than each other, you know? So because at Loudon, Chapeasy's kind of fast and stuff, and I didn't know Trevor's level. Like it was skewed because we went to his home track the first time I rode with him.
Right.
Looking back now, like, and no, I don't mean that to sound disrespectful to Trevor, but
I think he'd be great. He'd be
sucking Trevor.
Yeah, Trevor. You're even
When
lucky.
did you start riding Supermoto, Jake?
I started riding Supermoto in 2013. I rode at Loudon on our buddies Christian Cronin had a Supermoto KTM 450.
Was that the full road track at Loudon?
Yeah. And I did like
That's
a.
fast.
I had to do my Penguin class day. I had to get my license. I did
Yep,
all
club
that.
racing stuff.
I even did, yeah, I had to do all that before I even rode a Supermoto bike. And then I started doing that, and I think I raced a couple races that year, and then the year after that I started racing more often there. And had my own bike, I believe. Or no, I raced the same bike and in the B class, the amateur class.
Was it like love at first sight kind of thing, or was it not until you rode like a Supermoto track where you got to do both dirt and asphalt that you were kind of like, ooh, this is the jam?
Well, my dad's always been like a super fan of like street bike racing, so we've always gone up there. Like I have a 1992. I was born in 91, so a 1992 T-shirt from a Loudon Classic.
Sick.
Instant side. So I've been going there my whole life. So I think going there and riding the actual track that me and my dad went to so many times was kind of amping me up to a point of being like, oh, like I watched Miguel Dumahel go through this corner, even though it's not the same. It was changed a little bit, but like I do like road racing, so it's not like I find it interesting. I watch, I find lines, so like that interests me to the point of liking Supermoto a lot. I think that helped my interest, if anything, because it took it from one extreme to the other. I went from motocross to almost road racing, so I got two very far end spectrums of what Supermoto is. So just bringing them together in the middle of it kind of made it seem easier for me to be able to match them together, going so high speed into turns at Loudon, and then just being able to tame it down and understanding how the bike's going to handle under load and non-under load kind of benefited.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny, like I have a similar upbringing to you in the sport, kind of like that, and in a weird tie to you New England guys too, because like my dad, he grew up in Maine, and he rode for Maine Cycle, and he raced Loudon back in the day before it was the NASCAR track that it is now and stuff. But like that's kind of like how I got tied in with Phinney a little bit here, and
that's how I got started, because it's so funny that we live on the opposite ends of the U.S., but your dad's sponsor was my sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
And going back to what Jake said, everybody knows me as analytical and I do bike setup. But one of the reasons why I liked working with Jake, Shane actually was the one who said you should check this guy out. But we were.
And was that after Jake had done like the Penguin School and that kind of stuff, or?
I'm not really sure. I just know he brought him to my track and he goes, "Hey, can he run here?" I go, "Yeah." "What level is it?" He goes, "He's good." And I go, "Is he like, you good?" Or he goes, Shane's not super verbose with things, so he was like, "Yeah, really, really." He's not going to be like, "Jake's the best." He just looked at me and he nodded. He goes, "Yeah, he's fast." So
Yeah, buddy.
My favorite part about working with Jake wasn't that he never needed the perfect setup, that he would ride, real riders will ride anything. When you
Yep.
make the smallest changes with that guy, he just does these amazing things with like the littlest increase in dampening or whatever, and that's what made it really fun for me.
Made it
Yeah,
fun
no.
for me too. I have no idea with that stuff, so to have Aaron on my side with that was just, just to be able to pick his brain, even just the stupid stuff like you were saying, just a small little dampening change where, even just whether he even did it or not, it was probably just me trusting him.
Yeah, sometimes we just lied to him and just said it was fine.
Yeah, just
or
like
we didn't use it.
you're one of those placebo guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll do 3 clicks and you just go the other way.
Yeah, we start 3, go 3 back. No,
Yeah.
you did some amazing things on some real shit boxes.
Yeah, I always called my buddy, our old buddy Fat Tom. He hasn't been in Supermoto races in a while, but you know Fat Tom, Jake.
Yep.
And stuff. I always called him Placebo Tom because I could like tell him I did something to his bike. He's like, dude, it feels better.
Oh, it's so good.
You want to switch over to Simpy's screen real quick? Nice stoppy there.
Jeremy's clutch wagon. That's awesome.
Oh, the ridge line. Look at that beauty.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Man, let me know when you guys are able to see Simpy's screen.
Thank you.
This is the most beautiful picture, Jake.
Good. Can I exit out of the...
Yeah, you can exit the activity.
Okay.
And then just pull up Simpy's stream. Yeah, and Aaron, one of the things I always loved about you, like you saying, like, yeah, or people say you have an analytical mind, but you are super smart with stuff and you understand chassis and that kind of stuff because you're one of the people I've gone to figure out offsets for the bikes and stuff. Because when I mock up a chassis and start playing with numbers, I'll be honest, like it seems like when you play with the offset, the numbers change fairly minimally and stuff. And I'm like, is this just placebos? But when I can ride a 1 millimeter different clamp on a bike and be like, feel a difference and stuff. So there's a lot that happens there that's like straight up feeling. And you've been really good at helping me point directions on what offset I should make for clamps when I machine stuff and things like that. So you've been a real key player in a lot of things.
It's different for everybody too. Like we could be riding the same bike, and number one, right off the bat, your talent level's different. So you might be riding different clamps or different chassis because it's going to affect the bike. So you kind of have to know that stuff. And either people think it's just malarkey or they get it. And the ones that get it are usually the ones that are going faster. Like I said, Jake can pretty much ride anything.
Mm-hmm.
But certain things you could just see like him picking up time with just these improvements.
Yeah, and to that point, I remember when Jake first came onto RSR and he rode Gage's bike and it had Olin's on it. And I had ridden another set of Olin's on the team and I never got comfortable with it. I've never made so many clicker changes in my life trying to get comfortable. And I slowly figured it out through the weekend, but Jake made minimal changes. He just figured out the bike. He figured out how that bike wanted to be ridden with the setting that it had and just went fast. So like Jake has he has the unique ability of being one of those guys that is really a true professional as far as like, you got the professionals that like are real nitpicky. I'd say Shane's more on the nitpicky side and he's super knowledgeable, but he's like much more rigid with his bike. I feel like.
Well, he knows what he likes, and if it's not there, it's not there. I honestly, what I feel like is I don't know what I really want.
I was just gonna say that.
So, like, I'm kind of going as what I feel, and with like the TM, I felt like it feels a little bit shorter. It's obviously shorter wheelbase wise, but it feels like lower to the ground. So it requires a different riding style, and that I always found myself growing up being able to change my riding style on a dime.
Mm-hmm.
From riding from one bike to a different one growing
And
up,
I feel the same way as you, but you are another level beyond that of me because I've always that's that picture where Millier was about to die.
Oh, jeez.
But it was the same. Like I've always adjusted to bikes, but you are like another level above that for sure.
I've been trying to think, like just thinking about what would maybe do that, and I was riding an 80 motocross at 9 and like a 60 at the same time, so riding both of those bikes at that age.
Drastically different in the sand too, because you grew up like riding like Southwick and that kind of stuff, where those little tires get so heavily affected.
So that's funny you say that. I've only raced Southwick once when in my younger life. Yeah. And I blew my bike up. My dad said, "We'll never go back."
All right, well, my bad there. I guess it's like just bad on me being like, oh, everyone in the Northeast probably rides Southwick. What what kind of tracks? It was like, isn't 207 like pretty hard packed? What kind of tracks did you grow up on?
Tracks are pretty loamy. Back in the day, they were a lot more loamy, and they're starting to come around where the rocks are starting to show in a lot more tracks, and like the dirt's not the same. It's all been chewed up.
If you go back to that picture of Ugly on the ground.
Nice.
Aaron, I just call Sergio Ugly because he's always calling me beautiful and it weirds me out.
That's the Italian, and
I like Sergio. He's funny. And
Sergio
Sergio owns Box Shop now, doesn't he? Or does he just run them?
He runs them.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking about Jake and swapping back and forth, between the 60 and the 80, and run crappy little box shop, and then he'd do Loudon. But one of my favorite times was, I don't even know what he remembers, but we were in Belgium, and him doing Matet, and Shane was there. But I noticed how fast he acclimated. What's that?
What?
He just acclimated to the bike so fast.
Yeah, I could see that. I have that picture in there to ask you later. So this was one of the first times I found of you riding a Supermoto, Jake, was you on a BMW.
So you want to hear the story of that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A pretty good one. So, Aaron, was I riding your bike in this?
I gave you my Suzuki.
It was a Suzuki, yeah.
It was the best
Suzuki
weekend.
It was the Suzuki 250F.
Oh, hell yeah. My favorite.
And I cracked the cases on it. So
not cool.
I'm like, that was, I think, the heat or something. And I know that one of my buddies, Jeff, lives down the street, and he's got a BMW motard. So I call him, and I'm like, "Hey, you still got that motard?" He goes, "Yeah, it's in my garage." I go, "Does it run?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, I'll be there in 20 minutes. I left box shop, drove to his house, picked it up, came back, and then as I'm pulling it out of
street tires on it.
As I'm pulling it out of the truck, my class is lining up. So I
tried to stall as long as I could.
Look, my jersey's not tucked in. I don't even think I have. Do I have gloves on?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I just remember.
It looks like it.
Yeah,
you were just pulling on the track when I let the green flag go. So you started like dead last.
Yeah, I think I had honked the horn a couple times.
That's right.
How'd you finish?
I forgot about that.
I think I got first.
Yeah.
I think I got first.
Dude,
those things were wild.
That thing was a beast. It was not fun, I will say that.
No, you definitely put on a show, and I remember you passing somebody over the jump, that small table. It was pretty funny.
Those DOT tires had to feel like shit, though.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, box shop was so small that you could really run anything there, and you could run...
Survive.
You could run 14-year-old tires there and still have fun, so...
The dirt was predominant, so we had grip, but it's not that you didn't have to have latest and greatest tires and I ran tire warmers for safety, but Jake could pull that off. I couldn't pull that off.
Yeah, those bikes were trippy. They had like the pivot point for the countershaft sprocket at the pivot point for the swing arm, so you ran a tight chain on them. And the Husqvarna got bought by KTM, and so like the next year after that, BMW 450, that engine and that chassis got like formed around a Husky that I rode, so I'm kind of familiar with that bike because it had like you filled the gas tank from the back of the seat and
Yep.
Oh, that's
stuff
right.
like
I
that.
forgot
And the
you had
intake was
that.
up front, and
Yep.
they had 2 separate gas tanks. Like it siphoned pretty much from the main tank into one that had the fuel pump. So weird bikes. Like I've never had a motorcycle try to kill me as many times as the ones that's the Huskies I had that were that same motor. But
I brought that bike directly back to him. Take the thing.
Butterman, I
And then-
forgot you raced one of those.
yeah. And Simbi Scan forward a couple. I think there was so yeah, like Road America, this one, Colorado. This was a I can't remember the genesis of like how you came to ride my bike, Jake. I don't know if I reached out to you and was like, hey, come ride my bike or something. Because I got the ride for Joe Agley's like elite Supermoto RSR racing team in 15. And the year before I'd still had some Husky support from riding those shitty Huskies. And they turned KTM bought the brand, and they turned into like white KTMs as we know them now and stuff. And so I had a 450 sitting around that wasn't getting used. It was like my moto bike, but I had Supermoto parts for it. I'd seen you at the Road America round for AMA, at the Loudon round, where I'm pretty sure you beat me. I don't know if you might have beat me at Road America too. Who knows?
Loudon,
and then, oh, okay. And you guys were all wearing like road race helmets at Loudon, so like I didn't know who none of you was. I was just like, why are they wearing road race helmets? But then you go down the front straight and your head's getting like buffeted all crazy.
Like, oh, that's why.
And but you go out to Colorado, and that ended up being like a horrible weekend for you.
that whole gear setup that you're looking at right there in that picture is gone.
Yeah.
Oh, the black and white.
Yep.
Yeah, I still have my bib. Like Aaron got those made for us.
Yep. Stolen. Gone.
Or was that Jeremy or you, Aaron?
We'll give Clutch credit.
And so like
So long story short, we went out to dinner after we left the races.
But it was like where me and my wife had told you guys that we had gone or whatever. And so you're like, oh, it sounds good.
Yeah, we're like, oh, yeah, great. So we go eat. We didn't even eat. We grabbed the sandwiches when we were walking out. So it was like 5 minutes. Come back out. I look in the back and I'm like, something looks weird. We get in the truck. We drive all the way back to the house. Go to grab our gear bags out of the back. Mine's gone, and Rob Wiggins' gear bag was on top of mine in the truck, but his gear bag was still in the truck. So somebody grabbed his gear bag, looked at it, and was like, nah, I'm good, and threw it to the side and stole mine.
I remember how pissed you were when that happened, because I talked to you maybe 20 minutes later, and you were like, you said that exact same thing, but not quite as calm. Yeah, that was fun.
Well,
and then his luck didn't get any better.
We had a whole other day to go.
Oh,
yeah, and then your luck didn't get any better because like I converted the bike at the track for you, and then we're doing stuff
I was
RSR and like I can't remember, was it going to line up for the race or was it like a heat race? I can't remember exactly, but you come up and you're like, dude, the bike's making bad noises in the motor.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't need the buddy, you don't need this. I don't need this.
Like I hop on it and I think I like take off from the pit and like just like pull clutch and kill the motor and like, yeah. Nah, I'm sorry, dude. And like I had to like walk over to my bike and just like get on and go on the track. But like the first gear grenaded itself in the transmission.
But the other problem was like the worst thing is you went off and went racing, and I had to take everybody's gear off that gave it to me.
Oh, no.
And go hand it all back out. Yeah, I get knee braces from Gage, and who has, the world's skinniest legs ever. Here I am. I'm not the world's skinniest person ever. And I'm trying to put his knee braces on. I think it's cutting off circulation. I'm like, maybe it's a good thing I didn't ride. I probably wouldn't have felt my legs.
Yeah, Zemby, go a couple more pictures over. There's like a picture of him looking at the bike.
Oh, yeah. Of Butters
Me and
working.
Jake around.
Oh my God.
And what sucks is like it was like the second year of KTM on Husky or whatever. And the year before Reimer had grenaded 2 first gears out of his motors and stuff. And KTM warranted it, and they gave him new motors, and there were new transmission, new cases, whatever was it, like, I don't know necessarily full motors, but they warranted all this stuff for him. And so when this happened to mine, they were like, yeah, it must be something that you guys are doing that's related to Supermoto. So we're not warrantying it, like pound sand. So because Nicky had already grenaded too, they were just like, yeah, dude, get out of here. You can buy the parts and replace them yourself. And they figured it was something that's like, we land in the like, especially that Colorado track had some heavy landing zones where we were landing freaking wide open.
Right.
And stuff, so like, yeah, you like G out, and that's when that slick hooks up, like it's so much torque straight into the transmission. So
I mean, I could see it, but
yeah. Like, I think the knobbies, like, they do grab the same way, but then you got different diameter, but I think the knobbies spin more than a slick does too, traditionally, especially when they're hooked up.
Probably one of my favorite pictures.
You got Stumpy, me, Gage, Jakey, Sam Knox.
I don't know why. We're both wearing the clutch.
Yep.
Just
Yeah, other than that being like such a bad weekend for you, that was like one of the first, that was like the weekend we started really becoming like homies, I feel like.
yeah, like I felt like we were actually like, oh, okay, we are all the same.
And I'm pretty sure you were beating me on a really shitty version of what I was riding that day too.
Yeah, I didn't feel very good about it, but
like, it's like the bike you're riding, mine had stock moto suspension. It had no slipper clutch. It just had my clamps on it and a Behringer brake, which you gotta love Behringer brake, you know, that makes it good. But like, my bike's got a slipper clutch. It's got Race Tech suspension that's all done up nice and stiff. I got an ECU in my bike. I got all these extra parts and like a fatter rear rim. And Joe's giving me this bike. It's the sickest thing I've ever ridden in my life and stuff. And then my old stock bike is beating me. And I'm like, I know how much shittier that bike is than mine.
Yeah, I don't really know how I got good at riding stuff and not realizing what it's doing, because, you know.
Well, I think partly your talent's that high. You're one of those like Gage Hoffman level individuals where you got that natural ability, where it's like, I don't mean natural ability in a way that you didn't try, that you didn't earn it, because you did and stuff. But like, some of us are just, your ceiling was always naturally going to be higher than other people's. You know, as much as I want to be as gnarly as Gage, as gnarly as Dustin, those guys, the amount of effort I'd have to put in will ultimately end me short of that.
Whoa,
that was Loudon. There's the crew.
It is
Clutch
Timmy
Industries
V.
crew.
That is the good.
Yeah, guys, we photoshopped in was it Speedy Gonzalez or whatever? And that counted as Timmy V.
Oh, that's a great pick.
That is a great picture.
Wiggins, Jeremy, Clutch, Jake, Phinney, Kenny, and then who was the other guy? He was up there by you
Donald.
guys. Yeah, Donald. Yep. Good times.
Yeah, those were good times.
What was the number one from? Was that from them or?
That was Loudon.
Oh yeah, that's right. You won the title out there.
Yeah, I never run it though.
Mm.
My highlighter days.
Dude, that bike looked pretty good.
It was okay. Looking back at it now, like
at the time, it was different.
You and Sweendog the Ween Hog, and then Hoffman in the background.
Dude, they're just,
dude, how that year I was hurt, so I didn't get to run it. How gnarly was that container jump? Because it was like such a blown out, shitty, like the dust on the asphalt was so slick below it, and then it was packed good up the face, but like it looked like
where I almost went off the track too.
Mm-hmm.
Right before that, it was definitely the first time I've ever done anything like that before. Which is like the coolest part of Sturgis is like, when could you ever say that you've raced a dirt bike down the streets of Sturgis?
Oh yeah, that was the coolest event.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see how that AFT event is going to be in downtown during Bike Week, and it's like a AFT National this year in the streets. So that's going to be interesting. I wish
think
Supermoto would go back.
pretty good. But I mean, like the coolest thing is look at these people. They're like enjoying a nice meal, drinking a beer, and like watching dirt bikes. How sick is that?
So
Dude,
cool.
It was a good event.
it was.
And then it was
Rocky
broadcasted by you had Doug
Yeah.
Henry talking about us and stuff.
Yeah, Greg White's production company had done or recorded the races that year, and they were on Mav TV and stuff. That was a good year.
Yeah, I don't know if I like Greg White.
Why is that?
If you watch the broadcast, he once I get passed by Dawson and Gage, he says my glory days are over. He's like,
I guess because I'm
oh,
not the rider, so I didn't really key into that. But I can see if he was talking about me, I'd be like, "What the fuck?"
He's like, yep, Laforge gets passed. All right, looks like his glory days are over. What?
Nice
Greg
joke.
White, if you hear this, I'm from Massachusetts too, brother. The hell?
Dude, because like
call.
you were
Sick picture though.
always like there in the races. You were always competitive, but you never got to really chase a full series of the AMA until like later. Really, you only did one full year of AMA Supermoto, right? In like 2019.
When Steve was helping me.
Yep. And stuff. So like you would show up here and there as you could afford to, or as you had opportunities. Yeah.
Shane helped me out a lot. Like to make it out to that race, he drove my bike out. All I had to do was fly.
Mm.
Shane's helped me out so much with racing Supermoto. So like, I can't thank
Do
him.
you really got to blow him that hard, dude?
Dude, I do.
I know. I love Shane. He's such a character.
Gotta help I can't lie,
Yeah. No.
But
sure. I mean, it's the same way. Like me and Timmy V there. He's in the picture with you. Like if it wasn't for Timmy, there were so many races that I wouldn't have been able to do back in the day because we were all just like spending our rent money to go to the races.
right, exactly. Why do it? Why drive two cars? Essentially, why would drive two cars when you can drive one?
Yeah.
Go together.
I just remember the Timmy V days and back when I started, and Sean, I wasn't that great, but like carpooling with Shane. Jake grew up with him. I didn't. So I wasn't used to that uncomfortable silence. We flew into Vegas and we drove to Lake Havasu. And I don't think he even talked to me till the drive home. I was just like, he's such a funny guy. And he did help me out a lot too. So it sounds like I'm clowning on him.
That's a cool shot.
That is cool.
That is sick.
The coolest part is their boots, how they mix match their boots.
Yep. Yeah, they would like trade parts, or I don't. Maybe they were the same shoe size. I don't remember if it was parts they were trading off the boots, or if they were just straight up changing. Yeah, those two were always in cahoots with each other at some level.
Yeah, I mean they're doing the same exact pose right now.
Those two, I feel like, elevated each other. Like, I feel like Dustin was the only one
that elevated all of us.
That true. Like, but I don't think anyone worried Gage like Dustin did.
No.
And stuff. Like, I think Gage, like, I mean, I think it was Sweeney that said that Dustin was like the JS7 of Supermoto, and I kind of agree with that. Where Dustin's got style that's no one else has and stuff, and he pulls speed out of stuff that you're like, how does he do that and stuff? And you watch Gage, and it makes sense, and it's poetry in motion, but you can't replicate it. Like I can watch Gage do a corner and be like, yeah, that's the move right there. I need to do that. Wait, how do you do that?
You see what he's doing, but you go to try to do it, you're like, that doesn't make sense. How do you do that? But like Dustin, the one thing I remember about Racing Dustin is if he's behind you, he sure as hell lets you know that. If he doesn't put you on the ground, he sure as hell will scare you to make you put yourself on the ground. Or he will come by so fucking fast and so aggressive that it will just blow your doors off, and you're just like, what the hell just happened?
Dude, I remember him telling me one time, he's like, when I lap dudes, I try to get as close to him as possible and be as out of control as possible when I pass them, just to let them know.
Oh, he's letting me know, all right. He did to me like like 3 times Colorado that weekend.
Dude, he made Monty Frank rage quit AMA Supermoto that weekend in Colorado. He hit Monty so hard.
He literally didn't he just pull right off the track and just leave?
I don't know if that happened, but like Monty was mad and they were just like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. And Dustin's like, I'm just trying to go to the front and you're just being a roadblock. And it wasn't like it didn't put Monty down. Neither of them went down, but like he definitely, I think there was a mark in his frame from like a foot peg.
Oh my god.
There's actually a picture I think I saved in somewhere in this collage that I want to ask you about later because it's Monty reaching out and like pulling at you at OVRP.
Yeah.
So we'll have to get to that story once we find that.
Oh, another sick picture.
That is awesome.
Dude, I was going through like trying to find pictures of you, Jake, from like my wife's archive of stuff, and Brenda's gotten so many cool shots over the years.
Me in the background.
Yeah, I mean, she was heavily focused on RSR,
right? Yeah,
and stuff, but
understandable.
I mean, we're all focused on RSR. Let's not lie.
Well, we ain't joking.
That was part of the coolest thing about being teammates with Dustin and Gage was getting to ride with those guys. Those guys helped me elevate so much and just learn so much and stuff. But because like, during these years when you're like, you couldn't hop. Ooh, that's Mate when you went over and rode over there. How was that bike?
Oh,
it was,
we'll go back to Mate real quick. Tell us what's going on here. No, simply go back to the Monty Frank.
Oh,
that's just Monty being Monty. That's turn 1 at VIR. I'm not sure who's in front of us. I forget his name. But yeah, he's just on the outside of me. He thought it'd be cute to touch me. I don't know.
Did you guys battle that day or?
Yeah, I think we went 1-2, 2-1. I can't remember.
Did you beat him or no?
I did beat him. Yeah.
Monty had his days where he was fast.
I think I beat him. I'm not gonna say I did because I might not have.
And fun fact about the Nass race we watched earlier was Monty was the one that built us that big triple I mentioned. We didn't get to see it or anything, but he had built a sick jump for us.
Yeah, that thing was massive. I wanted to hit it bad.
Yes, it would have been so cool.
But yeah, that bike was, if I'm being honest, too good for me at the time.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't understand what I had.
Yeah, I think if I had been in a bike at that point too, I would have been in the same boat.
Like, at home, I was riding a bone stock Honda 450, like nothing on it.
Well, you had Euro pipes on it, so it looked like it was Hot Boy.
That was that the same year? Yeah. So I mean, I had a little bit here and there, but nothing crazy. And then getting on that with the fork, the triples, it was a different beast.
Yeah, like the amount of like traction they have on their front ends over there is bonkers.
And how much they hate backing it in.
It's the sport's elevated over there to just a different style. It's like all about keeping the chassis calm, carrying momentum, staying as neutral as possible. And it's like stuff we all try to do, but the parking lots in America made it to where you could ride aggressively and sideways enough to where it worked doing like that sideways style. But when you go to a fast track, you would see dudes like Hoffman and Gage not really backing it in.
Right.
Euro as fuck.
But yeah.
What took you out to Mate?
Aaron Phinney did.
Thank you, sir.
Tell us about that.
So, Aaron, what you had the connection with Gaza, right?
Yeah,
he has a connection with everybody.
I know, that's the thing, is like he's the guy.
I know.
I live in Europe. I'm not like a famous fast guy like Butterman and Jake, but I rode over here and I had a few connections. It's kind of the reason why I had the hook up with MVD for Butterman, but I could have gotten him a regular bike, and I wanted him to have something good. And I knew Monty had already previously ridden with Gaza, and I knew him because I used to go over to his pits because he had the best coffee in all the million races over there. So he knew that I was an engineer, and we talked about stuff. So I was already
Well,
bringing parts.
Gaz is Italian, right?
Yeah, he's just a
Yeah.
really cool guy too. He's just nice.
Italians are the best.
So I just wanted him to have a good ride. So I wanted to put him on that side of it because Marcel would have given Jake a bike.
Yeah, but it would have been
just-
like what, a WR 450 or
even
one
if
of the
you'd given
school
him one of
bikes
his
there.
race bikes, Marcel's great. He'll tell you he's great. But his bike setups, Marcel rides awesome. His bike setups I hate. And I know how Jake rides, and he would have hated it too.
That was the best thing too. Is Aaron's good at watching and seeing how people can handle things or what they would like and what they wouldn't. So having him being able to be there and we should like half the time he would just do it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even tell me. Oh yeah, I just did a couple things. Oh okay.
I know. That's why,
I
like,
did that to you. Yeah.
anyone that knows Aaron's like universally a fan of Aaron. That's why I was so stoked when I found out you're in the US right now. And I was like, oh, come on, hop on this with us tonight.
I'm so
Yeah,
happy he came on.
I was wondering how you take. I haven't talked to anyone in so long,
I know.
but yeah, that's great.
And so what was it like a shell shock racing those guys for the first time? Or like,
Yeah.
I mean, for me, when I rolled out the first time, I was in a session with all those dudes, dude, I haven't been that nervous since I turned pro in 2007. Like AMA Supermoto was still real big and all the factories were involved. It was like,
You're talking.
what am I doing? Yeah, and when I went to Supermoto Nations this year, it was like I was like, oh my god, I don't belong here. And then we get out on the track, and it's like, okay, we're all dudes doing the same thing. We're all having a good time on dirt bikes.
Right. Yeah,
like-
I kind of felt the same way, but at the same time, you look across that grid and it's like Troy Corsa. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah, Matei has some really unique riders.
You got a lot of those different people that are coming out of the woodworks where they're, it's not like they're just coming off the couch. They're, world title racers, and just at that point, you're kind of feeling like, do I belong? Like, what am I doing here?
Wasn't there some OG moto guys that year?
Oh, absolutely.
like,
Butterman,
wasn't
do you
like-
remember Kunzel?
Yeah.
Well,
Kunzel did it that year?
Jake had
Kunzel was
qualified right next to Jurgen Kunzel, and I was like,
No
"Oh, that's
way.
really cool." And then, Jake's Jake. He's just there to go fast, and he doesn't memorize all the details that I do. But when he was leaving to walk
He probably
away,
doesn't
it was
even know
really
who
cool.
Jurgen Kunzel is.
Yeah, I just didn't want to throw him under the bus. That's exactly what happened. But I was sitting there, and my German's terrible. But Kunzel was like, "Oh, he's fast," and I'm just like, "We come all the way over here. I've been trying there for years, and I have to work my way up because I'm not a super biker." And Jake's there 1 year. He obviously acclimated. He obviously puts it down. But it's cool when a guy like Kunzel's like, "Oh, your friend friggin' gets it done." It was pretty neat.
Yep, for sure. And speaking of that, Jake, so did you go over as a star biker or did you have to go through the qualification process?
No, I went through the qualification process.
Holy shit.
Which
it's like
Real man.
it's
be
like
honest,
it's
the
like
only
hundreds
way.
of people, isn't it?
It was 400 and something people that tried that year.
Yeah, because like the super biker final, it's like you have all these qualifiers that like slowly weed it down, and then you have a group of star bikers that are seated, or like S1 guys that are seated.
Right.
And now it's different because it's an S1 race, and then they do have like the star bike, like they still have like it's a Matei event, but then it's also a S1.
Everyone was incremented in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was I did a lot better than I was expecting, to be honest.
Killed it.
I did crash pretty hard in the final. So I
mean,
was, but
gotta.
I finished technically last because everyone behind me DNF'd, but I was the last running person. So at least I finished the race.
Hell yeah, brother.
But I think I got knocked out. I hit my head pretty good.
But you're like that typical race where you're like, nah, I'm good. But you're like,
Well, I'm like, wait, I'm in Europe. Like, I can't. No, I gotta just go.
Well, it was weirdly slippery, and I think people don't realize
Was this-
when you qualify down, but you're qualifying for like 3.5 days, and they slowly weed out. Like I've never even made the semi, so like the 90th place person in the semi before the final is lightning fast. So Shane and Jake both they did so awesome because you were running in like top 11 for a while, top 12, right?
Yeah, I think we qualified, like our semis, we got 13th and 14th or in that area.
I was super shocked.
What
guys
were you on
great.
the grid for the final?
Was 22nd, 23rd.
Yeah. Dude, it's so gnarly taking off of those grid. And was this the first year back in the streets from the road course, or was this like a couple years into them being back on the
It was
streets?
a couple of years back being into on the street.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think if it was the road course, they both would have done even better. And there's like,
You mean the race course?
yeah, it was. There's like 4 dirt sections, and it's but it's fast and it's flowing, and like Jake and Shane both can do double apexes, and that. I mean, I even do better on the road race course, but like, they would have just. It probably would have amplified what they already have for skill, and the street course is weird because, they race it for obviously vintage reasons and the whole the feeling around it, and it's better for fans. But the dirt section is slippery; it's kind of choppy, and it doesn't accelerate or enhance like Jake's dirt ability. So a regular guy can go in there and go kind of fast. So it doesn't have like a big double or a super technical
or like the road course had, where it had those 2 tabletops that you turn into like 100-foot double.
Yeah, I mean, the street course, I kind of feel like it didn't show what Jake and Shane could do while they were there, but it's still a great experience.
Yeah. No, it's still like one of those bucket list events. And I remember telling Nicky a couple years ago before he went over to Europe when he was talking about doing it, and I was like, do it. Go over there if you have the opportunity. Like as you get older, you get more responsibility. It's only going to get harder to make those type of trips and those type of events happen. Stuff because like Aaron, you were always bugging me like, I'll get you a bike, and you would put stuff and you would give me the opportunities, and I would just let excuses get in the way of going over, And I kick myself for not doing it. Would I maybe not performed, or like Jake was saying, like I can maybe use the bike to its full benefit? Sure. I was a lot greener then, but would it have been like a rad experience? 100%. And so I kicked myself for not doing it. And that's why I was so glad to get chosen for Supermoto Nations this year and be able to go over there and get my ass kicked and stuff and see the level over there. And then talking about like the dirt section at Supermoto Nations at Castelletto was a lot the same way, where over here, my strength is in the dirt section. Over there, that dirt section, a new bike,
wasn't
having a Brembo instead of a Beringer was a nightmare. I did not have speed in the dirt.
Yeah. It's just it's a different style. I wouldn't even say that you will always rise to the occasion. You're a great rider. I think it's cool that you got picked for that. But I guess in general, Beringer has more feel to me too, and I don't want to say anything bad about Brembo, but I think it's more of a different style, or it doesn't enhance like, you watch motocross of nations guys, or MXGP come over and do Supercross, or our Supercross guys try to do vice versa. They're all talented. It's just what works for you or what you're used to, right?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And like you're saying, over there, I got to ride L30 TM, and so it was a big bike, and I had the factory Brembo on my bike, like I don't know if they're titanium, but they look different, and it was one of the strongest brakes I've ever used and stuff. And I remember Philippe from Beringers USA reaching out to me and being like, kind of curious what you think of it. And I was like, it's good. It's really good. But like in the dirt, there's a suppleness to a Beringer that allows you to really use a Beringer very well in the dirt section and not lock up the front that I was lacking on the Brembo.
Brembo's great if you're on asphalt. I just don't like there's no modulation for me in the dirt.
Yep. Agreed.
That's a good pick.
This is a great pick.
Dude, this is before, like, looking back now, it's funny because, like, I know Sergio and JC and we're boys and stuff. And back then, all I knew was Shane and Jake. We were up in Canada for the Canadian round of AMA Supermoto at Three Rivers up at GP3R and stuff. And that was such a cool yeah. Oh, Jake, remember you podiumed? So Gage missed the podium. Remember we went down, like, this was the night before for the like parade or whatever through the town, and we all got to ride our bikes and we're doing burnouts and wheelies that they told us not to do.
No, this was not the night before. This was right after the race. We all got brought down, and Gage decided that he was gonna do something else.
Yeah, he didn't want to do it or whatever, and then I had to ride Gage's bike on stage, and it was all in French and stuff. And so, like, I got like the first place trophy, and we popped champagne and stuff, and I just acted as Gage McAllister.
It's awesome.
It wasn't awesome. The racer in me was like gutted because I was just like, I want to be up here for real. I wanted to earn it.
Yeah, but you got the pictures, so at least the pictures there.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That was a good time.
But that race was some of my fondest memories.
Yeah, dude, that place was a trip because that year that we did that, it was like, you remember, it was rain, dry. Aaron, were you there in 17
Yeah,
too, or
that's
was it
the
just
year I
16?
got heat stroke because I wore my full leathers during the parade. Remember that?
And,
White.
I was.
yeah. I barely got any laps on that track that weekend. It was just the races.
Weekend.
That was the weekend. It was rain, dry, and they screwed up the start. So the light went off, like it just stayed on for like, I felt like an eternity. I blew my clutch, and I remember pitting next to JC, and I remember hucking one of my gloves. You remember the MVD gloves are soft and supple, but they get the hard plastic knuckles.
Mhm.
I ended up hitting like some spectator walking by with it. I felt really bad. But then I pretended like JC did it, so.
Yeah, I just remember we swapped from rain to dry setup so many times. And the first race we did that weekend was in the wet, and like you're going down that straightaway there, and we had 42 3-rear sprockets on our bikes. You know, it was such a fast front straightaway, and you're going down, and the rain tire, it kind of wants to like follow the little seams in the asphalt, and you're trying to pull a tear off, and the bar is just kind of dancing. You're just fifth gear wide open. It was just one of the gnarliest experiences, I feel like.
That's the kind of stuff I like, though.
Yeah, I'd rather a slow tight track.
At turn one, going into turn one with that wall,
dude. Yeah, like just one downshift, kind of pitch it sideways, and then you're just looking at that wall if you tuck the front.
There's some good YouTube clips from there that are that track was sick.
Yeah. And then this was Texas. That was a weird track, like almost no. It was 50-50 like dirt asphalt, and we shredded that parking lot. We tore the parking lot up. Like we had gravel like ruts in some of the asphalt corners and stuff.
Yeah,
it was nuts.
It wasn't the world's greatest asphalt, but it was a fun track.
And this is where this is actually where Team Pride started.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Because Nicky was posting pictures of himself, and he was super stoked on his 7 kit and his 60 helmet and everything. And I can't remember, he posted something on Instagram. We were all sitting in the heat, and we're just trying to like stay cool during the race, and he's just taking pictures in his gear. And I remember like comments on like, stop crying and come ride with us. And then that started the Team Crime page. And if you've been around the AMA Supermoto pits in the last few years, you know Team Crowd on Instagram's like a Supermoto moto memes and stuff. So that was the start of that. And then it was also kind of this was when we were really all starting to become friends with Alberto Maserati, the Italian. Because he had come over the year before, but this year he was doing the full thing. And Jake, this was your first year doing AMA Supermoto the whole time. Oh, yep. Me and Jake here, we got close. I can't remember why.
That's because I crashed. And I got up, and that was like in the video clip of the race when they have.
There's like a kind of a sequence here, Simpy. Scroll through them.
I crash, and then I get up, and I start like wheeling through the whoops and. I think we.
Yeah, look at that right there. Like you got Tommy Lemieux up front, Gage kind of hidden in front of Jake, Sweeney, Maz, Reimer, me.
That was a fun weekend looking back.
Nice and loose right before the jump.
Nice and squirrely. Remember, I had to go out with the tractor and fix those jumps.
Dude, remember we were all working on the track the night in between the event and stuff. Like we're all out there with
We were in some
blowers and brooms and
John Deere tractor. It was.
Oh, were you around the night where me and Brenda got there and we like hop on our Groms and we're like, we're gonna go look at the track. And I don't know if you were still there at this point, but some dude on a Harley, because it's like this was during the Republic of Texas biker rally, and it's around the fairgrounds in Austin. And we're kind of in the center area by this like pond on this grassy hill, and there's a flat track that we were using part of. And so they had flat track race and the Supermoto race up in this area. And it's just you're surrounded by bikers, and there's a stage. Like they had some big name bands playing that weekend. It was a super cool event and stuff, but there was like some biker, because me and Brenda had been just like goofing around on our Groms throughout the property. And like we go to this ride onto the track, and some Harley guy follows us onto this dirt section, and he's hammered.
Oh,
And
no.
the face of this jump, dude, he comes over at high centers. He just smashes his face into his windscreen, pops the windscreen off, falls over the bike, rolls down the backside of the jump. Bike's just stuck on that face.
Come on.
Yeah.
God.
But see, that's like the type of stories that like these races bring out, though. It's great.
Yeah.
We need more races like this, of just like in an event like that where there's people just there for some other reason and they come out and they walk.
I don't know. It's like I mean, those definitely, because like Sturgis kind of had the same vibe. So the biker rallies definitely do create that. But I think Supermoto in general too makes it happen, because it's not as physical as moto. I always call it the slacker sport and stuff, because you like there's another picture of me and Jake bonered out here, and I was like, oh, let's style check.
Yeah.
But
What are we doing?
Supermoto, it's like we can all, whether we're drinking beers and just bullshitting with each other, like you can kind of have a much more relaxed atmosphere. You don't have to be these elite athletes to do Supermoto and stuff. So it's like
You Tommy Lemieux me right now? I don't get it. He's not in shape. I don't get how he goes so fast.
Dude, Tommy was so fit. He was probably the fittest dude ever. Oh yeah, there was that sequence where it was like I was trying to not let Jake back by.
I love it.
Ew.
Yeah, there was that. I put that picture in because like it wasn't just Jake Boner, and it was like we were seat bouncing those whoops in as far as we could.
We were trying to triple in.
You know. Yeah, there was a bunch
Interesting
of things.
rain front, slick rear.
It was a DOT rear.
Was it really?
Yeah.
And look at that swing arm. You had that Tecmo swing arm.
Yeah. That's why I went back on that other picture. I was just looking at the swing arm.
That thing
That's a
is
good picture of it.
sweet.
Are you racing Smack this year, Jake?
I am. Yeah, so that's the plan. I'll be racing Smack on the same bike, same TM for Jay.
Sweet.
Nice.
Gonna try to get my ring back for the next Nass year 2.
Any rumors on where Nass 2 will be at?
I haven't heard any rumors yet, but I'm hoping that it's gonna be planned out a little bit better. Of hoping that the weather will be at least.
Yeah, I just don't know how you like control that. You know.
No, I'm just
'Cause,
saying,
like,
like somewhere where it's guaranteed to be warm, or
Yeah, but then you end up probably pushing it to like more West Coast, and then it's like it deletes the centrality out of it a little bit. But I don't know. I think it could be cool if like Nass did move around somewhat around the country. I think it has room to do that in a certain way. Maybe where it's some closer to one coast the other once in a while.
I also think
like
I think
that's
it'd be
Canada
too. Yeah,
I know this year they mentioned it would possibly being in Vegas for a moment, and that's a little bit west.
Oh yeah, this year, yeah, they did. He did go out there and try to set something up. That would be really cool.
I think
Definitely more West Coast for
further
that.
on down the line. That's probably one of my favorite pictures of myself.
Dude, you built that dirt section for us. I love that section. That was so fun. It was so technical and it was so fun.
I got so many mixed emotions about that.
Dude, like yeah, like I remember watching the amateurs and was it Kevin Weir?
What is it? Is it not an AMA professional race? So we got to build professional jumps, professional tracks, you know?
Yep. And then we got a couple
was
of
the only
Jakey's
picture of
bikes
it.
here. Oh yeah. Like there I'm trying to think of like where we would have a video of that. It was sick because Jake built like you had this double and then you had 3 rollers and then like a step on to a tabletop, I
Yeah.
want to say, or like over the tabletop and then another single out onto the.
It was 3 whoops and then a step up onto a step down or something like that.
Yeah, but it was like really hard to like because the face of the jump after the 3 rollers, you couldn't just like go across them and like have it work out and stuff. Like so, I was wheel tapping it and get myself into the pocket good. Gage was tripling it, but he was one of the few guys that could triple it clean.
I was wheel tapping also. I think
Yeah.
I'm wheel tapping right in the picture right here.
Dude, that was the year I rode really good that year and then had ground wire on my like power commander brake and then lost power in the second moto.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about my results on this weekend.
I just remember you coming over to me after the race and giving me a hug because I was all depressed.
I got lapped. This was not my
Did you?
weekend. Yeah, that swing arm didn't work very well there.
Oh yeah, I could see it started. It probably didn't work.
No,
I remember, dude. I had hit you and gone down the first moto at this event.
Is that why I hugged you?
And then I came through the pack. Like I went down and then I came through everybody and I hit a lot of people. Like I hit Sweeney. I hit pretty much anyone that allowed me to hit him. I hit the crap out of Parker Pittman when I lapped him. But I got up to third on the last lap. I punted Lemieux on the last lap and got back up to third. I was so pumped. That was like one of the best rides of my life, that moto.
That was good shit. That was good.
What
weekend.
was the swing arm doing different here?
Not allowing him to get traction.
Yeah, I was getting like wheel spin everywhere. Coming out of the corners, I wouldn't even get any traction. It would just spin. And the second I would
Which is like, I mean, that's part of what makes Sturgis beautiful, but it's also makes it very technical.
Right. So if you had a stock swing arm, it definitely benefits, I believe.
Yeah. Like I think I would spin up intentionally to like avoid those big old like 55-gallon drums of water on Main Street. But you'd be spinning sideways and then it would kind of bind the chassis. And as soon as it would load the rear end enough, it would just like snap into a wheelie. Where I think yours, it just kind of stayed floating out there and you just be spinning.
Yeah. Yep. So I was skating on ice the whole time. Still fun. The dirt section, like I said, I mean, I'm not saying I'm the world's greatest dirt section builder, but I thought it was pretty fun.
No, that was one of the most technical, fun dirt sections I've ever ridden. I loved it.
It was definitely fun.
Like a couple of the amateurs, I think, like Kevin Weir, rest in peace. He had crashed and broke his leg that day on it and stuff.
Yeah.
And so it bit a couple amateurs.
Yeah, so I feel bad about that, but
I mean,
Jake,
that's
I
not
agree
your
with
fault,
you,
but
though.
yeah.
When you said it's a pro event, I wouldn't have been able to do it, but I would be running a pro event, and if I couldn't do it, that's my problem. I'm not going to have you change the dirt section to make it easier.
Yeah.
No, I liked how you built it.
So, Jake, what was your favorite Supermoto bike out of all the ones you've ridden there? Can you even put a bike on that?
I wouldn't. I would say that's my favorite looking one, the Cowie. I wouldn't. It was a 250F too, so.
Dude,
and,
250 Supermoto is so fun.
It had a stock front brake and stuff like that, but I don't know. I liked Steve's bike, that Husky.
Mm-hmm.
It handled really good. That swing arm really.
That year you did super good. You got second to Gage.
Right, and I was consistent. You know, like besides the bike blowing up that one in Colorado, I was pretty consistent every race.
Oh yeah. Yeah, put that rod right through the cases.
Yeah, put Charlie right on the ground.
Yeah,
That
poor
bike
Charlie,
went for
right?
you. That bike was a good one, or did you ride even locally?
Yeah, that one is
that one had a set of my Supermoto clamps on it.
that had your Supermoto clamps, but bone stock suspension, not anything to it. KTM,
No slipper too, or
no slipper,
yeah, boy, that's my
stock
guy.
exhaust, no ECU,
But you got a Behringer.
Behringer. I'll never forget. We were in Canada, and we were racing Eric Stump. And I'm putting my bike in the back of the truck, and he's like, "Oh, dude, this bike, I was behind you, and the thing handles so good. Like, who do you have do your suspension?" And I'm like, "Oh, KTM. You got it from the factory? Like, who do you know?" And I'm like, "No, like literally KTM. Like what they bring to the shop and what you buy on the bike is what it is." Like, no, I just thought it was so funny that he thought it was all done up.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's show you like the riders with the ability, they can make some stuff happen on stuff that shouldn't be able to make it happen.
That's Gage's bike.
Yeah, that was your first ride on the RSR.
Yep.
Lightning on the Wolf 2020.
That was a great weekend.
Yeah, so fun because it was such a badass weekend because it was me, you, Shane, and Dustin.
Yeah,
his teammates and Joe, like just all under the RSR rig. This is heavy pit presence. We just dominated.
Drink some beers.
Yeah, I remember me and Hoffman, like they had the like wasn't there rain, so like the dirt stuff got pushed off to the second day. So as soon as it was like, yeah, we're not doing dirt today, me and Hoffman went and got more beers.
Like, yeah, we're just even though we're not riding, let's just crush beers. That was a great weekend. That track is so fun.
Oh, dude. I mean, you killed it in 2020 because then that was the year you tied with Fillmore for the title in the AMA because they did that. It was like the COVID year, so it was four races, 1 weekend, Tucson.
Awful.
Awesome.
Tied.
You were still on crutches that weekend, weren't you?
No, that was the year after.
Yep.
I love how Morgan looks like Eli Tomac.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good heavy RSR weekend too. Like because we had Morgan Mitchell on the team that weekend too.
That was so fun.
Yeah, that was a good time. Yeah, because like that was so cool. Like I mean, because like Fillmore was there with a factory motor,
and he showed up,
and who Fillmore is, like he's a gnarly talent as it is, and stuff.
Yeah.
So like it was so cool to have you like beat him and stuff, and you guys were like, what was it? Was it the third moto that it kind of went away, or was it just the final that he got you?
So I went 1-1-2-2, and he went 2-2-1.
Yeah,
so
yeah, right.
I won the first two. And the third one, I think I got a bad start. I can't remember totally, but I believe I got a bad start and was hung up behind Shane for a couple laps. And once I got around Shane, I finally could see Fillmore, but I think he had just enough room where I just couldn't catch him. And then the last moto, I think almost the same thing happened, or I might have tucked the front.
Yep.
Oh,
awesome.
Jesus.
Sturgis 2016.
Dude, that's another thing about Sturgis that's fun. Like, we all get together after, all hang out, we're all boys.
Yeah. That's any Supermoto, bro.
That's
but yeah, that was when you guys were doing the stuff for raising money for charities, and you guys were behind the bar making drinks for us.
Sweeney was the bartender.
Sween Dog, the Ween Hog.
Sween Dog. I don't think there was any mixers in those drinks.
Dude, and then Sturgis already with like the 3-to-1s they do, where it's like you can just order any drink 3-to-1, so it's just 3 shots instead of 1.
3 shots for the price of 2 in 1 cup, right?
You sound like that.
3, 2, 1.
I love Sturgis.
Wayne's the number plate that was still up there, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Still at the knuckle. Oh yeah, that was yeah. I remember telling, because that was the first time Jake's on the RSR bike, and he had rode for Alkire on the 48 racing Husky the year before. So I sent this picture just to Steve. I was like, Jake, look admiringly at the bike, like you just infatuated with it.
Oh, that bike was so good though.
Yeah.
That
For
that
sure.
that one right there.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Beautiful.
Wish we had that.
The RSR setup.
I love Joe.
Is that lightning on the? Where is that?
Yeah, that's Sean.
Oh, okay.
Aaron,
Good
have you
old
been to
channel.
Shauna?
What's that?
Have you been there before?
Yeah, like a million years ago.
Yeah.
I haven't been there since Jay or Fred was doing anything up there.
So you go like the first year Smek was around, or what year was that?
Jeez, it wasn't back in. I'm trying to think what years it was. I thought it was 2015. Maybe it was.
It might have been.
'Cause I feel like, well, Fred has
You
been.
you raced a lot in 14, but yeah, Fred ran it pretty much from like 13 to whenever it started becoming like a Smek national. So,
Right.
But for a while there, it was Fred's event, and he was running this like standalone.
I think I ran
cool money race.
Yeah, I think I ran it as like I wasn't even part of the series when Fred ran it, and before I met him, because obviously after knowing Travin and you get to know him and Ducky, I would have
Dude, he's a
known.
character.
What's that?
He's such a character.
Oh, he is. And in 14, I was just overwhelmed with everything because I shouldn't have been traveling all around the country. So 14 and 15 is when I raced the most.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just like the downhill double apex stuff and being able to put it together. Coming from road racing, it just suited me. But no, I don't think I've done a J event there or a Smek event because it used to kind of conflict or be the weekend.
Yeah, it was always exactly.
Yeah,
it was always in like I didn't get to do it for years because it was always in conflict with AMA or whatever, and my dumb ass was always just chasing the AMA ones.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. I feel like the schedules are working out, or there's less people, so it's less overlap. And that's one of the big things I see a problem with Supermoto. There was just too many people trying to do the same thing, and I think using smaller venues as like a catalyst or qualifying to get to like the end. I think that's the way to do it. I think Jay's doing a great job. So
yeah, and that's the beauty of Nass too. I feel like because it helps the clubs and everything that act as qualifiers to it too, because it helps by giving them a race. So it forces riders to go to whatever their closest club is and do a race and stuff. And so then, because without the clubs functioning, that doesn't help field a pro series either. So you need them all. You need the pro series to like create like that goal to where you're going and stuff. And the more you have in it, the more support can be brought to it and stuff. So it's like, but we really need the grassroots of it to be strong. And I think that's gone away because like, whether it was people like me that would only do the AMA stuff for a long time and stuff. So I didn't support my local stuff. So that's why I really like the idea of Nass, and it gives the ability to like have, like I already talked about, with other guys from other forums come in. And so I really look to that to become like the new big thing that we look forward to every year.
I agree. I think it's a good way to do it. I mean, America's big. I mean, if you race the Dutch series, it takes me 4 hours to get anywhere in the country. I mean, you're not going to get out of your state in 4 hours. So to do an American thing and expect everybody to do every round, with the purses and stuff the way they are, this makes the best sense. It's the best way to get everybody involved.
For sure.
Right, and like I also think it's a good way for just looking at this picture right here, like to have Dustin come out and race. All he would have to do is do 2 races. He would have to do a qualifier and then come race the Nass race, and he could win money at Nass and only have to do 2 events and still be at home with his family and work and stuff like that. So him and other people like that can come out for those 2 events. If they qualify, they can get.
Yeah, and then it's also like the excuse of like, well, I haven't been riding or whatever. It's like you get a race to go knock the cobwebs off too.
Exactly.
And then
Yep.
yeah, so I really look forward to it. I love what Jay's been doing and stuff. And I love how he works with the other promoters and they're all on the same page and he's really good at communicating with all of them and stuff.
Yeah, communication is biggest.
Look at all these dorks with road race helmets right there.
Dork.
Such a cool. Dude, I mean, I get it
yeah.
because we were at Loudon, but like you got Shane, you, Chapeasy, Swing Dog.
Dork.
Dude, that downhill
Right.
is so gnarly. It was just like rocks, and then that turn you guys are down in was just sand. So you would just pin it through the rocks, and just let the sand swallow you.
I'm pretty sure at this moment right here, Dustin's in one of those moves of just fully wide open. Watch out.
Yeah, dude, I remember him being so scared. Like once we saw how fast that track was, and he's like, "I don't have leathers. I'm in full moto gear with some pads underneath. If I go down, I'm like sliding my side off my body."
Yeah, his skin would be off. I'm wearing Shane's leathers and his
Right,
helmet.
right.
And his helmet.
That race was unique and cool too. And it was cool to like kind of go back to where like my grandpa came out and uncle and stuff, and it was cool to see like some of the family members that I don't ever really get to see because it's rare that I ever get up to New England and stuff.
Right,
Just like why it's rare we get to see you because it's like for you to be able to come out. That's why I wish like there was more support for someone in your caliber and stuff to be able to do more of these races around the country, but just where you're based makes it hard.
I know. Yeah, it's tough.
But yeah. Well, thanks a lot for coming on, Jake.
Absolutely, man. This is
Been really
great.
fun. You're one of my favorite people.
Oh, you're one of my favorite people, dude. This was
Oh,
great.
wait, another dumb question. Who's your favorite Supermoto racer?
My favorite Supermoto racer. I'd have to say Doug Henry.
Nice.
Just
Yeah, that
because,
was my guy too.
like, you know, you watch these old videos and there's just something about his riding style that's just so not what looks fast.
Yeah.
It's just what intrigued me.
Yeah, he was my guy growing up. And then modern era, I'd say Dustin, but
Yeah, I agree. The thing about Doug Henry too is when he went to Loudon and stuff was cool to see like how fast he went and just knowing like how fast we went and just gauging off that and being like, holy crap, like he
yeah.
really was that sick.
Hey Simpy, I think they have some of the Nass schedule up on their Facebook.
Okay, hold on.
Stuff like I know some of the qualifiers are already out. I think more are being added for this year.
Yeah, because so I think the qualifying hasn't been posted out yet for the NAS, but I believe
not all of it.
Supermoto-
There's a couple SMEC rounds that are already listed. I believe Cascadia is going to hold theirs in April, is what I'm hearing. That's not for sure yet, but other than that, and then McAllister is doing a big race in NorCal this year, and I really want to hit that. Be cool if we could get you out to that one too.
Yeah, I'd be down.
You just need to like see if Joe will get the bikes back out there for you.
That'd be nice.
We'll see. I think it's on SMEC, not North American Supermoto.
Oh, yeah, you might be right. Yeah, his schedule is posted. That makes sense. Right, SMEC. And thanks a lot to Aaron for coming on.
Yeah.
No problem.
Very
I don't really
cool.
do much these days, so it worked out great.
What do you do?
Not a lot of anything. Little engineering on the side and just mind my own business.
He's gonna come hang out with us here.
Yeah, I'll see you guys again in 3 years. No, maybe I'll be around the summer. Maybe I'll be back. The pandemic threw everything off,
sure.
and I just got used to staying in Europe. But maybe this summer I'll show my face.
Please
That'd
do.
be rad, dude.
But yeah, so the schedule looks like it's out. So
Yep. Yeah, Smeg's posted a schedule, so that's exciting.
Thanks. So they have 3 Nass qualifiers just in SMEC.
Yeah, so you'll have
So
Virginia
Nass
have a
is at least
qualifier.
after the 25th of August.
Yep.
It's also good too, though. If you look, it's one's in Virginia, which is the
More south on the East
the
Coast.
furthest south we go, and then the other one is Shawano, which is the furthest west we go, and then Oklahoma is, Oakland Valley is our home track. So
Yeah, I like that they have one in Wisconsin because for those guys to travel when they travel either West Coast or East Coast, they're in for a haul. So no matter where they go, so it's cool they have a qualifier and then they can like plan one big event because Wisconsin has a big supermoto scene right now and it's awesome to see. A lot more asphalt only lean on their stuff, but they still have a bunch of really good guys that are good on supermotos with dirt.
yeah, we can transfer some of those asphalt only people over.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Corrupt.
and there'll be more qualifiers announced as we go as well from the different clubs when they run their schedules.
Yeah, like Colorado's planning on having one again. I know that. Cascadia, Supermoto USA. I don't know if that big event will be one, but there's a possibility it could be one too. So California would have one instead of
When
just
did
being
you
like
say that
Oregon.
was?
I want to say that's in June.
All right, cool.
So, but there'll be more info coming out on that soon. So very exciting. There's definitely some cool stuff for us to hit this Supermoto family this year. With Nass probably being like the cream of the crop. You gonna rock like a number 1 or what? What's the deal, Jake?
Well, I didn't win the SMEC, so I think if I might run the number 1 for
At Nass is what I meant.
at NAS, yes.
Okay.
I have to.
Type.
You got it right. But I will tell you, if you notice my name on this, I am gonna go back to 351.
Ooh, I love that. 3 digits is legit.
Yes, sir.
I like 3 digits.
Me too. We're all 3-digit guys.
Yeah, I figured I've gotten the wrath from you boys enough.
It's just hard when you had such a cool number. Not that 17 was bad or anything.
I know,
like that.
but like it was just at the point of like I was 351 since I was on 50s.
Yeah.
I was just tired of looking at it. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
All right, boys. Well, we'll go ahead and shut it down. Good game.
Right on. Thanks for having me.
That was super cool talking to you guys.
Yeah, this was good.
I'm very excited for the next Nass round 2 and be able to see you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, guys. Yep.
We'll have to see each other sooner.
For sure.
Give my regards to C-Dub.
I